Welcome back to Turf Talk Quarantine Edition here at Arlington International Race Course with Brandon Stauble. And Brandon, if they're here, they were on the track today out of quarantine and got our first look at many of the contenders.
Yeah, it was nice to see the Aidan O'Brien horses come out at the very end. We had to wait a little bit. It was about 10:35 when they finally came out, but interested to see some of those runners. And now we can kind of take this group and watch them the next day or so and kind of form some opinions about what we like and maybe things we don't like.
Yeah, and we have the internationals are in the Secretariat, Beverly D, and the Arlington Million. Of course, Beverly D and Million, part of those guaranteed pools, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5. So a lot of information is going to be important when deciding who to use or not. And any Gold Star blue ribbons today?
Yeah, you've got some. It's interesting. You've got some horses that are going to be stretching out, some cutting back. So I like to take a look at physicalities in here. Some of the pros I had today, Deauville, when they came out in the paddock, reaches out really well. Now, it didn't do a lot in the gallop, got warm, but that's fine. It's a little hot today. Yeah. That's normal out of quarantine, but I really like the way Deauville appeared today. Mektal, kind of open gallop down the lane a little bit. Really liked the way he moved, stretched out well, kind of caught the eye a little bit. Another one that caught the eye here was Serendia. Lots of power from this runner, was very aggressive in the gallop, so I want to make sure that we see that same aggression tomorrow. Ascend looked really good today for Graham Motion. Was out there, wasn't doing a whole lot, but was listening. You know, I like to watch the ears. Ears are important. They tell you a lot about how the horse is feeling. Very gorgeous looking out there, very fluid, definitely caught the eye. And then the Chad Brown runners, about the same as yesterday, so nothing really to touch on with them.
All right, didn't know that about the ears. We'll have to talk about more about that. Do one of those like TED Talks for horse watchers. That's interesting. But yeah, Mektal. We'll get into our picks tomorrow in earnest. But actually, I'll scratch into him because I did like Scottish, who is now a non-runner.
Yeah, Scottish actually had a blowout today. Caught the last quarter in 25 flat down the lane. Was moving fine, but apparently when cooling out at the barn afterwards was off, so they've decided to scratch. Just a couple others too that maybe I'm going to be watching very closely. Fanciful Angel is one that hasn't done very much here the last 2 days. Basically is with the lead pony. They basically, I wouldn't even call it a gallop. They kind of just jog around and then go back. So they haven't done a whole lot. Obviously has to step up in class a little bit. That's one I'll be keeping an eye on. Taj Mahal that came out with the Aidan O'Brien group at the very end. I have some distance concerns with this runner. There was no knocks on the gallop, but just the way this one was walking, and you know, we kind of equivocate the walk to a stride. Doesn't really have an overstep, like we say, that it reaches out in front very well or even behind. So I have a distance concern with Taj Mahal. Also Rain Goddess, who came out with the Aidan O'Brien group, was a little nervous in the paddock, kind of that prancing up and down motion that we kind of also equivocate to being a little nervous. I'll just keep an eye on her. Also during the gallop, I thought she maybe could have relaxed a little better. If you watch Deauville's gallop, the hands on the jock are very low. That means Deauville's very relaxed. Rain Goddess's jock had the hands very high, like this one was wanting to do a lot more, and not rank, but almost just wanting to be a little headstrong. So those three, I'm just going to be watching a lot carefully, a lot more closely, and we'll see what we get.
Yeah, we'll see him again tomorrow, maybe at a more reasonable hour with the other trainees. And I don't think we've seen this one here. You're probably familiar with him at Churchill. Just want to get a quick take because everyone is touting me on Devisadero, and I'm not sure he's up to the task of Mektal and Deauville, who I do like a lot and have a lot of respect for, shipping overseas. What do you make of his chances? And you know, what are you going to look for on Saturday when we finally do get to see him as he comes to the paddock and warms up?
Yeah, one thing I know about Buff Bradley, his horses are always fit, so I'm not going to be worried about fitness with Devisadero. He's not the strongest workhorse in the world, so not seeing his workouts to me is not that big of a deal. He's obviously got class, but remember last year is when he started to tail off around this time. Ran big on Derby Day in the Woodford and then kind of tailed off. So if we do get to see him tomorrow or even maybe early on Saturday, we just want to see a horse that's moving well. I expect him to run a good race, but at the same time, I can't be extremely confident in his chances.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, it's a tall order, but it should be when you're racing for Grade 1, a million, berth in the Breeders' Cup.
Right.
Secretariat, as I mentioned, is out. of the guaranteed pools, but it is part of the Festival of Racing. Any notes on there as the Europeans try to dethrone our 3-year-old leader of the turf male division?
Yeah, we kind of talked about Taj Mahal a minute ago.
Yes.
Oscar Performance was out this morning, looked really well. No knocks on this one. For a speed horse, he relaxes pretty well in the mornings, which is what I like to see. So Oscar Performance, if you like him, stick with him.
All right, yeah, and there is some pace in the race, which is a reason I'm going to try to beat him. We'll talk more about that tomorrow when we get to our picks. Anyone else?
Beach Patrol was out, nothing new to report on that one. Postulation was a runner we hadn't seen before. Just jogged with the pony today, so we'll look for that one to do a little more tomorrow. Also, a couple of the Europeans also visited the Gap today. We had, I'll probably butcher the name, Affendum. And that one went with Mektal to the Gap, and then they both galloped. No knocks on either one. Like I said, we talked about Mektal. I thought just the way he was moving down the lane really caught my eye a lot. Lipstick City was another one, just kind of a lighter based filly, kind of come with that late run late. So, we got a great bank of horses that we've seen so far these past couple days. And like you said, we're also still waiting for Sonic Boom from Wilkes to get here. We're waiting for Cox. Brad Cox has several horses that aren't here yet. Maker was one that we were talking about earlier. He's got 6 or 7 that aren't here. So hopefully tomorrow we'll see a few, but we've got a lot of information. I look forward to getting it up on the blog.
Yeah, we'll put it all together tomorrow, give out some picks. And you mentioned not butchering the name or hoping not to. We'll talk to John Dooley tomorrow, the announcer. He'll get it right, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be fun. But good week ahead, and looking forward to putting it all together tomorrow.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, big thanks to you guys at Churchill Downs and Twin Spires and Mr. D in Arlington Park. And it's been great. We've got great weather, and I just look forward to a big day on Saturday.
Yeah, fantastic weather. Hopefully a big day for our picks, which we'll go over tomorrow. Join us then.